But it's not always fun and games. At night, a darker, more sinister side emerges.
We do have some problems in downtown Myrtle Beach after like 10 p.m. That's kind of like a joke about Murder Beach, Myrtle Beach.
Murder Beach, or Dirty Myrtle. After dark, it's its own monster.
It's really become a dangerous place, and there are a lot of beachfront and alligator farms and ways to dispose of bodies that people are never going to be found.
When a dead body is found, Megan Jackson is likely to get a phone call. The 35-year-old mother of 4 and her boss, Chuck Benjamin, provide a service everyone will one day need, but nobody really wants.
My name is Chuck Benjamin. I pick up bodies for the local funeral homes and the coroner's office. It is about 3:40 in the morning. We are headed to one of my local funeral homes to pick up a body to take it to the airport in Charleston so it can fly out to their final destination.
How long have you been doing this?
Since 2011, whatever that is.
Okay.
12, 13 years.
14 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is the right schedule for today. Yep, 8:29. Leaves at 1 o'clock this afternoon, so this has to be there by 10:30, 11.
What do your grandkids call this?
The Deathmobile.
And you have it in your driveway, ready to go?
Oh, yeah. All my drivers have one in their driveway.
Because you can get a call at any moment.
24/7, 365 days a year.
With those hours, not to mention the grim realities of moving the dead, Chuck says it's not easy to find transporters for his business.
We don't have people standing in line to get this job.
We've
I can
had
assure
people
you
work
this.
one day and leave.
Megan was a next-door neighbor to Joan and Chuck. She had moved from Ohio with Greg and her kids.
She wanted to try it when I needed somebody. So I said, well, I'll take you on a few calls. If you like it, fine. If not, it's no big deal.
She had an interest in science and blood and things like that.
Very first call we went on was somebody had been down for a week. It was decomposition on the 3rd floor. And I mean, she'd hold her own.
She could pick up a body, which is clearly dead weight, by herself and put it on a stretcher or in a car. And she's teeny.
And just like that, Megan becomes an Uber driver for the dead.
I looked up to my mom in a lot of ways. She did a lot of work.
How would you describe her job?
It's a pretty sad and can be an overwhelming type of job, but I think that as long as you're being respectful and caring about what you're doing, then I think it's actually a really good job to have.
Everyone loved Megan. Everybody that she worked with in the business. We worked for a variety of different funeral homes. At the time, we worked for the coroners.
Megan's job requires her to work hand in hand with the Horry County Deputy Coroner, a man named Chris Dontel.
Megan was a great worker. She endeared herself to all of us at the coroner's office.
Did you ever go with her to work?
I've done quite a few calls with her, and it would be something I would actually look into doing in my future.
You would think of doing the same thing.
Yeah, I never really bothered me as a kid because everybody passes at some point.
As Megan thrives at work, her relationship with Greg Rice, the father of her children, fizzles out. After 15 years together, the couple splits up, but they share custody of their kids.
Greg moved to the Arrowhead community where he lived in an apartment. Megan, who had inherited a good deal of money from her parents, purchased the home in River's Edge.
On October 3rd of 2020, Megan went over to Greg Rice's home with the children. He was going to get the children for that day. There was no answer at the door.
I received a phone call from Megan asking if I heard anything from Greg because he's not answering the door, he's not answering his phone.
Ryan and Greg work together building patios and are best friends. Ryan tells Megan he last saw Greg when they both left work the night before.
I felt it was kind of fishy, and she ended up putting in a missing persons report.
Megan files the report in person at the police station.
Megan, right? M-E-A?
M-E-A-G-A-N.
What's your last name?
Jackson.
How long were y'all married for?
We weren't married.
Weren't married? How many kids you got together? Just curious.
4.
4, really?
I was with him for like 15 years.
How long y'all been separated?
Over a year.
Over a year.
Megan says she last spoke to Greg on Friday, the night before he went missing.
And you talked to Greg on the phone at about 9:58, you said?
Yes. And I told him that are we still good for taking the kids to your house in the morning? And he said yes. And I mean, everything was fine.
That was the last time you spoke to him?
Yes.
So you never physically saw him Friday?
No.
Megan was pretty much painting the picture that Greg could have possibly overdosed, was in a ditch somewhere.
What kind of drugs did he do?
Like oxy, broxy. I can't remember what he called
Did he get
it.
hurt or anything? Is that why he started taking them, or just
No,
he just started taking them?
He lived right beside the Intercoastal Waterway. If she was saying he may have wandered off and drowned or just wandered off and OD'd.
Police ask for your help in finding Gregory Rice.
It was a mystery that shook this Myrtle Beach community. One day, 46-year-old father Greg Rice is living his life, and the next day, he disappears, seemingly without a trace. So this is where he lived, right here.
Yes, his children would come visit him for scheduled visits and unscheduled visits. He wanted to see his kids often.
What did you find in the apartment?
So at the apartment, you know, his wallet was found, his front keys were found stuffed in a cushion on the front porch. His car was here, but not his phone.
Is that suspicious?
It is suspicious.
Why?
Most people would have left with their wallet. Most people would have left with their keys, or you know, why walk down the road? Why not take the car and that kind of stuff? So yeah, that is suspicious.
We set up arrangements to go to Greg's apartment and split up in teams and search his apartment and grounds around it for anything, and we didn't find anything.
Investigators canvassed the Arrowhead community trying to see when he had last been seen, but none of that was really fruitful.
The investigators talked to neighbors, and by all accounts, it appears that Greg Rice was a good father. He had a job, he was a hard worker. He seemed to be just an average guy.
Greg had some very good friends in the community who just found him funny and caring and really enjoyed spending time with him. The children all loved him unconditionally.
How would you describe your father?
He was always that person that would be there for you at the end of the day. If you had something you didn't want to say to anybody else, you would go to him.
Greg had the kids almost every single weekend. That's the one thing that mattered the most with him.
You did a lot of fun things with him.
Yeah, I did.
Like what?
We used to surf together a lot, and he used to actually take pictures for the surfing competitions I used to do.
Our favorite hobbies would be definitely surfing and golfing. We would golf 3 to 4 times a week. He was absolutely terrible, but a blast to play with. Yeah, he spent a lot of time in the woods.
How did you find out your father was missing?
My dad always came and picked up the kids, and that didn't happen this day.
Savannah says her parents' relationship took a bad turn after her mother got that job, working in body transport.
She just kind of acted different, was homeless, could be a lot more mean than before.
She was never home, would leave at all times of, day and night, and just leave the kids.
At some point, were your parents arguing more?
Yeah, they argued a lot, but it definitely did get worse once my mom got a job. They stopped just talking things out, and everything became an argument.
And then they wind up breaking up.
Yes.
After Megan and Greg Rice part ways, Megan purchases a home in the same neighborhood as Christopher Dontel.
She moved into our neighborhood, and then a few times she started kind of like popping up at different places. We would go to the same places to eat, kind of had the same routine.
So quickly, she went from your husband's coworker to a good friend, family friend.
Very quickly. Yep.
After a while, when Megan moved to Chris's neighborhood, he would just call her and say, I've got a coroner call, and I need you to, go to this address.
She would call me, hey, Chris has got a call, you mind if I go on it? Well, I didn't care, but as long as it gets done on the, within the time parameters that I have to do it.
Megan and Chris are constantly in need of each other because the coroner's office needs body transport. And that would involve meeting each other all hours of the night, all days of the week.
And then in 2020, Chris and Megan's workload explodes because of the COVID pandemic.
The alarming surge in cases of coronavirus. Hospitalizations are up in 21 states.
Funeral homes didn't want nothing to do with it. They didn't want to go on the calls, so they would call me because they didn't want nothing to do with COVID. We were doing 2,500 calls a year, and Megan volunteered, and especially she always did Chris's calls.
Megan and Chris are together for work constantly, and the new neighbors' families become COVID bubble buddies during the lockdown.
After Megan moved into my neighborhood, her kids and my kids virtually had an open door policy at each of our houses. Her kids would come and go from my house. We ate dinner with them several nights a week.
She was showing up with groceries when everything shut down for COVID and we were struggling financially.
We were expecting a little boy. Megan had a full load of brand new nursery items and baby boy items.
We never asked her to do it. She just came in and was going to be the savior.
And then you hear that Greg is missing.
Chris came home and he was like, Megan reported Greg missing.
It would all become more troublesome when police learned Greg feared for his life.
Are you suspicious about anybody?
He was always worried about driving and being followed.
Whenever someone goes missing in Horry County, we always write a story about it. We're a small enough community that if somebody's missing, it's absolutely a news story.
Police ask for your help in finding the missing man who you see right here, Gregory Rice.
Police kept on coming by and just questioning us. Have you seen anything out of the normal? I mean, that's when red flags were starting to raise, like something seriously happened to Greg.
When was the last time you had seen him?
The week prior, and that was the weekend that I promised I was going to come see him, and I didn't get to see him.
What were you going through?
I was in a pretty bad shape. I wasn't handling it very well, and it didn't help that my mom was still going out every night, getting drunk, coming home plastered.
Did she seem worried about your missing dad?
She seemed worried at first on the phone call and when she originally came home, but after that it was just kind of like nothing.
From all accounts, they had a somewhat tumultuous relationship. There was a lot of friction between Greg and Megan.
She never called him by his name. It was just, oh, he's this terrible guy. I'm going to drop the kids off. If I'm not back in an hour, send somebody to look for me.
I wasn't surprised at them breaking up because I know things she said about him, you know, how he would drink and do drugs and things like that. I think we just all assumed that he was going to be found in a ditch someplace from a drug overdose or drunken stupor.
Megan started making stories up about Greg being on drugs. Never once have I seen that out of Greg.
Law enforcement, they did look inside Greg Rice's apartment for evidence, the substance abuse issue. They didn't find evidence to support that.
No evidence of drug abuse, but investigators did find evidence to suggest Greg was increasingly nervous and suspicious in the days leading up to his disappearance.
Detective Susie called me over the phone, asked me if I would come in for an interview, and I said absolutely.
So I'm Detective Susie. I'm the one that called you on the phone.
So you're a friend of the...
Yeah, and I also work with him.
They had actually worked together that last day, and Greg had actually said to Ryan, if anything ever happens to me, it's not a suicide.
Greg mentioned to me that if something was to happen to him, he didn't offer himself.
What do you think could have happened? What were your thoughts at first?
She had something to do with it.
What gave you those suspicions?
Just the way Greg talked.
He had a feeling that he was being followed by a silver, unmarked car. Megan made it known that she hung out with cops, was real friendly with cops.
She always made the comments that she knew people.
Do you think she would be capable of doing something?
Not by herself.
Not by herself. That statement stood out to detectives.
Walk me through Friday.
I know that I went to Abuelo's on Friday.
What time did you go to Abuelo's?
Not a clue. It was nighttime. I was there with one of the coroners.
Initially, when investigators spoke to Megan, she had just gone to dinner with someone from the coroner's office. And then later, when questioned about that, she said it was Christopher Dontel.
We ate at Abuelo's.
Who'd you eat at Abuelo's with?
The coroner. Oh, Chris.
Chris.
Dontel.
So you wound up getting closer to Megan. Did you see her as someone you could confide in?
I did.
And you did?
I did.
Based on interviews and just other information from the investigation, I certainly think there was a belief that Megan Jackson and Christopher Dontel were romantically involved, but it hadn't been confirmed. So that was one thing that the investigators did want to either confirm or refute, that there was this affair going on.
It's now been 10 days after Greg Rice is last seen, and Megan and Chris are both being questioned by the Horry County PD.
One thing that we have to do is, like, we know who you are, we work with you, but we have to 100% clear you out as quote-unquote a suspect in his disappearance.
Okay.
Okay. So some of the questions I'm gonna ask are intrusive. They're uncomfortable questions.
How we got your name was Megan said that you guys had gone out to eat on Friday night. And then with Greg going missing sometime around that time frame, we're trying to gather what happened on Friday.
We went to, I believe, Abuelo's that night.
What did you do immediately after you got done eating?
We both got in my car.
Okay.
That's the uncomfortable part, right?
Yep.
Mm.
So y'all were in your car?
Yeah.
Okay. Did y'all have sex in your car?
Possibly.
Okay.
I mean,
It's not possible.
You had adult relations.
Okay.
yes.
Eventually, the naked truth bubbles to the surface.
What's the relationship with you and Megan?
If I'm being honest, it's something I would get divorced over.
So you think his intentions are to leave his wife and are y'all
No.
planning on starting something?
Oh, hell no. I'm never moving a man back in my house ever again.
So this is just a fun.
I don't know what we are.
Your wife doesn't know.
She knows a little bit, but not the full extent of it.
I just don't want to wreck, his. He's got kids.
I know. Again, that's not mine.
What about the Chris? Do you want me to answer it?
No, just, he'll be okay. He can wait.
Investigators ask both Megan and Chris for their cell phones, which they voluntarily hand over.
I get this back today, right?
Yes.
But it's someone else's phone that leads to a shocking revelation.
Erica Dontel began to receive anonymous text messages that said, in essence, hey, your husband has gotten somebody pregnant.
It must have been a hard pill to swallow that your husband had impregnated this family friend. It all turns into a twisted tale. What started out as a missing persons case uncovers a secret affair between a deputy coroner and his partner in body removal.
They were in the business of death, and I really do think that that was something that drew them together. It takes a certain special kind of personality, I would say, to deal with death on such a regular basis voluntarily.
So how did it go from you two being co-workers to something more than that?
She said, have you ever cheated on your wife? And I said, no. And she climbed over the console and got on top of me and started to kiss me.
How were you able to carry on the affair? Where would you go?
Because of our job, it was, I would get phone calls at all hours of the day and night, and it was easy to leave.
One night you realize that Chris and your mom might be more than just co-workers or friends.
Well, I just had friends over one day, and they were just being loud in the bedroom. And the next day I was like, wait, were you guys sleeping together? And she told me, yeah, I thought you knew. And I was just like, no, I didn't know, but thanks for telling me.
You had a great wife at home, Erica.
The most amazing wife.
Why did you continue the relationship with Megan?
She made our lives easy. She was going to be the answer to everything.
You did it for the money?
It sounds terrible to put it that way, but yes. I was not at any point physically attracted to her.
Really?
I was attracted to the lifestyle she was providing.
Did you suspect at all that she and your husband might be having an affair?
No. Because the way they acted, she treated him almost like brother and sister type.
Erica Dontel began to receive anonymous text messages.
And it just said, I think you should know that your husband is having an affair and got somebody pregnant. Oh, and I think you should know it's Megan Jackson.
It must have been a hard pill to swallow that your husband had impregnated this family friend.
Yeah. It was so far out of character for Chris. He told me it wasn't happening. He was like, who would say that? Like, what? Like, that's ridiculous. Like, somebody's messing with us.
Your wife received some texts from an anonymous account. What's going through your head? Do you think about coming clean to your wife?
I didn't. I downplayed it. I didn't even know that I believed Megan was actually pregnant. I didn't know what to believe at that point.
They end up calling Megan right then per Erica's request, and it's all on speaker. And Megan dismisses them and, basically, well, it must be Greg Rice.
This is what Greg does. Greg causes problems. This is what he does. He just tries to come in between any relationship that she tries to have.
So you sort of let it go?
For the time, yeah, she said she was going to take care of it and get him to leave us alone.
Chris Dontel is having an affair with Megan Jackson. Greg Rice may have been leaking information to Erica, Chris's wife.
Authorities believe that if Greg was sending those messages, Chris and Megan would have a reason to silence him. They know, thanks to their interviews, that the pair was together the night Greg disappeared.
Chris was in it the entire night.
Yeah.
So you have to drill down exactly where Chris and Megan were that night, right?
Yes.
When Greg disappears. Where did Megan and Chris start off that afternoon?
They both lived in the same sort of residential community. This is Megan Jackson leaving in her car at 6:16. There was another still showing Christopher Dontel leaving just about the same time.
In separate vehicles?
In separate vehicles. So this is the van that she was known to drive to transport bodies, and Christopher Dontel is always seen driving a County Explorer.
Minutes later, both vehicles are seen entering a nature preserve where they stay for several minutes. The two work vehicles then leave and head to Abuelo's restaurant.
Abuelo's is not that far from the preserve. They went there. We had surveillance video of them coming in. This is surveillance video for
That's them sitting at the counter. Huh?
Sitting at the bar. And one of the reasons why this photograph was important is because it helped us corroborate phone records, because you can see Megan Jackson on the phone there. And that's one way that we say, look, the phone records are correct.
Looking at the forensic results of their phones, they started to get GPS locations. Then they could go back and there's license plate readers.
This is the entrance to the community where Greg Rice lives. And right there on that pole is a silent watchman on duty 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. It's called a license plate reader, or LPR. And people drive past them all the time, all over Horry County. On the night Greg disappeared, Chris Dontel and Megan Jackson drove by this one, not once, but twice.
So in this photograph, we see this is the license plate that was assigned to Megan Jackson's transport van entering into Greg Rice's community. This was right around 10 o'clock, and then just about 6 minutes later, you see the same van with the same license plate leaving the community. And one of the things that this helped us with is that Megan Jackson swore up and down, Christopher Dontel swore up and down, that they had never been to that community.
Did you ever go to his apartment that Friday night?
No.
Had you ever been in Greg's apartment?
No, I never went there. I've never been to.
So this was clear evidence that they were hiding something.
On the night of October 2nd of 2020, Greg Rice's phone records indicate that he was at home most of that night until he got 2 calls from Megan Jackson, and that was just shortly before 10 o'clock. Shortly after that, it did show his phone leave the area of his apartment, which would have been going in the same direction as Megan's phone as well.
It's a short ride to the next stop of the night, and where Megan's body transport van ends up couldn't be more on brand.
If you could write a script, you have a body transport person, a deputy coroner, and at least one visit to a funeral home that night. It's the business of death. By October 23rd, the investigators had done a fabulous job of gathering different pieces of electronic evidence.
Investigators say Megan's body transport van is seen leaving Greg's community the night he disappears. They also say Greg's phone is with Megan. According to the evidence, where do they go next?
Their phone records place them at the Myrtle Beach Funeral Home.
Chris and Megan have access to that funeral home because of their jobs, right?
Yes, just based on his position as a deputy coroner and hers as a body transport person, they pretty much had free access to funeral homes.
What about surveillance video from the funeral home?
That would have been wonderful, but life is rarely that easy. It wasn't working.
The cameras at the funeral home weren't working.
They were not working.
Megan and Chris are racking up the frequent flyer miles in interrogation rooms. Now the regulars are back in the hot seat.
They knew that her van had driven into Greg's community, and that's certainly information that they used in their interviews.
Did you ever go to Greg's house?
No.
Then can you explain why the van you were driving that night hits on a license plate reader going into Arrowhead from Cleveland?
Well, it should have.
I have pictures of it.
I mean, that's fine, but it shouldn't have.
But it did.
Okay, but I can't explain it. Because
You were driving the van.
Well, I can't explain it.
You and Megan were together the whole night. Megan's van drives into Arrowhead at 10 o'clock that night. We could have been by Arrowhead.
Do you remember anywhere you would have gone?
And I'll be totally honest with you, because I'm sure you know already, she's giving me a while I was driving the car.
Dontel used this sort of oral sex while driving as his reason for not being able to tell exactly where they went and when they went.
I tell you about pulling into Arrowhead. You say, oh, I don't remember that. I don't know about that. All I can tell you is that I don't have anything to do with Greg being missing. All I am guilty of is...
You know who has the motive? It's Chris. He has a lot to lose. He's got the motive. And I think you're covering up something up for him.
I'm not.
And we're giving you every opportunity to get yourself out of the situation.
There's nothing for me to get.
There
I
is.
don't know where he is.
I feel like I'm being investigated for something that I didn't do. Chris, you are being investigated. You are, absolutely, 1,000%.
I hope it's worth it, Megan. I really do.
I don't have anything to charge you with, but there's no doubt. I didn't do anything. Well, Chris, I'm going to tell you this. If someone asked me to put a bet on it, I would say that you did.
Without more direct evidence, police let Megan and Chris go. Meanwhile, the search for Greg continues, retracing Chris and Megan's steps. Maybe that body has been cremated. Let's go check the gas and see if an amount of gas was used that would have represented the burning of a body. And there was nothing to see there. No extra gas had been used. And then weeks go by with no sign of your dad. It must have been agonizing for you.
I just wanted him to come back. I just wanted him to be found and be okay so that I could go to his house. It was just a lot of begging and pleading for him to come back.
This is the Little PD River, miles of slow-moving water surrounded by natural wildlife. And that makes it a very popular recreational spot for swimming, canoeing, and catfishing. For Donna Sue Souls, it's the relaxation and family tradition of catfishing that has brought her here for decades. You said you call this your happy place.
Yes.
Why?
It's just peaceful. It takes all my worries away.
And then, 37 days after Greg Rice's disappearance, a discovery. So November 7th, 2020, how did that day start out?
Well, we come and set up. We set about 8 hooks that night. And then when we turn around and come back through, then that's when, I mean, you could smell the smell.
All right, tell me about the smell.
It was really bad. It was horrible.
On a closer look, what do you see?
Yeah, well, it looked like the tarp was just laid up there. And then once you got the paddle and we lifted it, that's when we seen the ratchet straps tied around the bottom parts of the legs. It was like around both and then around the head on the other side.
What went through your mind?
Well, I dropped the paddle. It scared me. And I started crying. I was like, this can't be true.
And you were scared?
Yeah, I was scared.
The Marion County Sheriff's Office gets a 911 call. Tell me about that.
We get a call for some people fishing found what they thought was a body. It was they found a tarp, and they knew something was in the tarp.
The tarp had black zip ties on either end and then also ratchet straps with cinder blocks securing it, obviously trying to keep the body submerged.
It sounded like a mafia hit.
It would seem that way. It would seem that way. They didn't take into account that when the decomposition starts, the gases fill up and it'll actually float.
Big mistake.
Big mistake.
This body was extremely decomposed. I mean, there was always this thought, okay, here's a body, maybe this is Greg Rice.
Things had to be done, DNA and dental records, to positively ID this person, unfortunately, as Greg Rice. The medical examiner determined that there were positively 5 gunshot wounds on Greg Rice. Investigators start to look at the tarp that Greg's body had been wrapped in, and in fact discovered that the Lowe's Home Improvement here in Conway, South Carolina actually sold that particular name brand. And they go to that store and they start to inquire, has anybody purchased these items? And lo and behold, someone had.
But what really blows up this investigation is a piece of evidence that's literally full of hot air.
Why would you use a plastic glove, doll?
Sex and scandal and then murder. Let me ask you, have you seen anything like this?
This is a new one for me.
Yeah.
What am I under arrest for right now that I'm being
Murder.
It just was like, oh my gosh.
You've transported hundreds of bodies in your life, and now here you are involved in a real-life murder.
Has Megan ever told you that she killed Greg?
I asked her how she knows he's dead. She said, why? Doesn't matter.
And I asked her, what do you mean? And she just wouldn't say anything.
They both claim to be not really knowing how Greg was killed.
This was a high-profile case with a lot of twists and turns.
They had a blow-up doll?
There was a blow-up Betty doll in the front passenger seat.
My mom could be an evil woman.
She had threatened to kill me. Felt like for the last 5 years that I've been looking in the barrel of Megan Jackson's gun.
He made this big cry, oh, I'm afraid of her.
Sounds like a horror movie. It's spooky.
Never seen anything like it in my life. Ever.
Weeks go by with no sign of your dad.
I just wanted him to come back.
Did your mom seem worried about your missing dad?
Not really.
The former partner of Megan Jackson is now missing, and we've got the idea that there's this affair going on.
I mean, it's scandalous. Somebody from the coroner's office and somebody from a body transport having an affair.
Over a month later, Greg's body was found along the Little Petey River.
Once Greg's remains were recovered, there were very specific items found used to wrap his body. Ding, ding, ding.
How did detectives wind up at this store?
They wound up at this store because after the murder of Greg Rice, they found Greg Rice's body and he was wrapped in a tarp. And investigators later looked that tarp up and it happened to be a name brand that was sold here. And so they did a follow-up on that to see if there was a tarp sold anytime recently.
Police are able to get a receipt from Lowe's for a tarp, cinder block, zip ties, and a diet soda. And that's not all. As most of us know, in stores like these, there are security cameras everywhere.
When you go back to October 3rd, the video surveillance showed the person buying those items, and that person was Christopher Dontel.
He's very relaxed. He's very well dressed in the video. He's wearing khaki pants and some nice shoes. He buys a Pepsi Zero. He's just nonchalantly pushing his cart with his murder dump kit through the line at Lowe's.
But now you know, without a shadow of a doubt, that he is involved. He bought all of these things that are used. There's more work to be done, but we were certainly on the right path.
As you drive out to the Little Petey River, you pass the Petey Exchange, just a little gas station convenience store. And you can actually see what we know is Christopher Dontel's vehicle driving past it one way and then returning the other way. And that coupled with LPR hits for Dontel's county vehicle really kind of cemented the fact that Christopher Dontel had driven Greg's body out there.
Convinced that the coroner did a lot more than just sign a death certificate, investigators rush over to the Dontel home.
Hey, Eric. How are you? My name's Greg. Is Chris home?
Yes.
Hey, Chris.
But he was just sleeping in bed, sound asleep, not a care in the world.
Your wife and children, it's probably better that you just come on and talk.
Over the past month, Chris has not provided detectives with much.
Chris, I mean, you got some questions and probably some things to say. I mean,
I like to have my lawyer present.
But in this case, a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Chris, I'm not going to ask you any questions. What I do want to do, though, is I'll leave these here with you. Let's do shopping at Lowe's. There's the body you threw over the bridge. Take this on because, well, you understand, you're not leaving the building today. You're going to be going to county jail here shortly. Okay?
What am I under arrest for right now that I'm
Murder. Murder.
At what point can I speak with my lawyer?
At the same time, Megan Jackson is taken in.
Well, all I want is okay.
I don't have anything else to tell you other than what I told you.
Well, I can tell you that's not.
Nobody here thinks you're a bad person. Nobody thinks anything to happen to Greg.
You have no motive to kill Greg.
But Chris does.
So, the night of the second you guys were together all night long?
Everything that I remember, yes.
Okay, so I know you weren't with him on the 3rd between 2:30 and 3 because he called you. But I know where Chris was between 2:30 and 3 on that Saturday.
We were at a call.
No, you weren't.
The detectives then confront Megan with some very powerful images.
So you mean to show you where Chris was at 2:55 on Saturday? Some cinder blocks, a tarp, zip ties, ratchet strap.
Probable cause, and they were able to make those arrests.
Chris, stand up, turn around.
All right, Chris, murder Greg Rice, all right? I'll see you.
And after your father's body is found, the police come to your house.
They told us that my dad was found and my mom and Chris would be being charged.
That must have been so hard for you to lose your father and then to find out that your mother might be involved.
Yeah, it was a lot. Because I just never believed that my mom could do something like that.
We start with breaking news. 2 people have been charged with the murder of a missing man.
Police say Dontel and Megan Jackson are connected to Rice's death. Both are charged with murder.
And I was like, oh my gosh, what the heck? I had no idea. I was shocked.
When we got this information, it was beyond a shocker because Chris Dontel was a man who we would reach out to for homicide investigations, and now you have a deputy coroner who is arrested in a murder case.
And you had no idea from his behavior that he might be involved?
Erica, I really think at that point she still did not want to believe that her husband was having an affair with Megan Jackson. She did not want to believe that he had anything to do with the murder.
With Chris and Megan now booked in jail, investigators continue to search their homes for any items that may be connected to Greg's death.
That is spooky.
The police say they saw some very concerning things.
The power button's to the top right.
Sus.
When investigators with Horry County PD did a search warrant at Megan Jackson's home, she had multiple guns in the home. Strangely enough, all of them were accounted for, but they found an empty gun box that was a .22 long rifle pistol that is consistent with the murder weapon in this case.
As investigators look through the home for evidence, their search takes a drastic new turn.
She's got bottles in every crevice you can find.
She drank a lot.
It was just very clear that she was not a good mother.
It's like a doomsday room. You got a code lock.
There was a lock on the pantry door, so the children did not have free access to food.
And then investigators head up the stairs to Megan's 13-year-old daughter's bedroom. What did the police find out about that?
Well, they found out that she had an alarm on her door.
An alarm?
If she was to open the door, it would beep. Eventually, it just got worse.
Their doors had locks that were turned to the outside so that they would not be able to open their doors from the inside.
The windows, they were nailed shut, and then spray foam insulation was sprayed around the windows.
It was like a prison.
Yeah. Yes. Pretty much.
She would essentially lock them in the room so that she could go, and she would go to work or do whatever she was going to do.
She was busy doing this job and obviously involved with Chris. I felt bad for Savannah that she always had to be in charge.
I was the parent of the house while living with my mom because she was never home. And on the weekends would be the times I would go to my dad's, but it would be also the only times I could actually have free time and hang out with my friends.
So you didn't go to your dad's?
No. It's one of the things that I regret most in my life. Because I should have, and I could have, but I didn't. And I really regret that.
The situation in Megan's home, besides murder, was so concerning that Megan's children were placed into emergency protective custody.
As a result of what investigators saw, she was charged with 4 counts of unlawful conduct toward a child.
Nothing at all to do with the murder or the arrest for the murder. It was totally separate.
Days after Greg's body is discovered, a bartender at this restaurant sees Chris and Megan's mugshots on the local news, and she remembers serving them rum drinks one night at the bar and overhearing a conversation Chris and Megan were having with a fellow patron.
So the conversation they were having,
They were normal conversation, like, what do you do? They explained, well, he explained that he was a coroner and she transports bodies, and he was like, that's got to be a weird job. Small talk like that. Later on, it got into conversations about their families. She started going into great details about how much she hates her kids, how she never wanted them. She said, I think about killing them all the time.
The bartender says she overhears Megan making some disturbing comments about her family.
I had heard Megan say the same things, but I didn't believe Megan would actually do that. I chalked it up to the alcohol.
And a week after their arrests, Megan and Chris have their bond hearings. Prosecutors decide to try Megan first on the more serious murder charges.
Megan and Chris were ultimately let out on bond, but they were on house arrest.
One of the standard conditions is no contact with the co-defendants, no contact with the victims. In this case, for Megan Jackson, it would have been her children.
Chris loses his job with the coroner's office, and now armed with an ankle monitor, he returns back home where his wife is waiting.
At his bond hearing, they said, you know, we've got Mr. Dontel on footage at Lowe's buying, you know, the things that Greg was found in.
Now, are you a little more suspicious?
Yeah, so then I was like, well, that doesn't sound good.
Do you confront him then?
Oh, yeah.
Were you angry?
Oh, yeah.
How did he explain it?
Just that it was the perfect storm of just bad decisions and bad situations, and then, you know, it crossed the line for the affair.
And essentially their job, the circumstances of their job, made it easy to hide the affair. So now Chris and Megan are back home, living just a few blocks away from each other, but they're barred from having any contact.
I was fielding calls weekly from people in the community. Both of them continuously broke those bonds.
Their ankle monitors were appearing at the same place at the same time.
They said they were getting together to exchange Christmas presents at one point.
He's out on bail, but he's still communicating with Megan.
Yeah. I found a cell phone. The only contact in it was a nickname, but I knew it was Megan. And I was like, after all this, you're still talking to her.
Personal drama aside, as investigators prepare to bring these cozy co-defendants to trial, they discover a silent witness.
Megan calls it Blow Up Betty. Let me ask you, have you seen anything like this?
Not with a coroner and body transport people. No, this is a new one for me.
So I get involved as an investigator here at the solicitor's office after their arrest. And we start looking at the evidence we have, clearing things up, and making a timeline a little more crispy.
Where are we driving into now?
We're in Lewis Ocean Bay Heritage Preserve. It's a recreational area. Hours before Greg Rice went missing, Megan and Chris drive into the preserve.
They had them on camera going in and out of that area.
What happened at the preserve?
Prior to anything happening with Greg, Megan had a interest in guns and shooting. She would shoot in the woods, and on this particular day, we went to the nature preserve. Megan wanted to go shoot.
What was she shooting at?
She would shoot at everything from tree stumps to pieces of paper that she would fold up, just random things.
So there's a still image on a license plate reader that you can see Megan leaving with this object in the front passenger seat of her vehicle. It was revealed that it was a blow-up doll, and the doll had a name, Blow Up Betty.
Betty? What was it used for?
At the moment, we don't know.
Your guess?
My guess is for target practice on this day.
So Blow Up Betty is no more.
I would surmise she probably isn't.
Was there a blow-up doll involved in all this?
Not that is relevant to the case. Megan was a unique individual, and
you don't know why?
No, that was just one of many eccentricities about her.
And investigators uncover more shocking details about Megan's personal life.
Before Greg Rice went missing, Erica Dontel began to receive anonymous text messages that said, hey, your husband has gotten somebody pregnant.
It turns out what was said in those mysterious text messages was actually true.
Megan, she goes, before anyone else tells you, I want to let you know that I'm pregnant.
Oh, Megan. You're just getting in deeper.
She told Christopher Dontel that she was pregnant, and then she had told people that she had a miscarriage. She did have a baby eventually.
There has never been a paternity test. Chris, of course, just accepted paternity.
The baby was eventually placed in the care of a family friend.
Our office is no stranger to really high-profile cases throughout the state. And this was a high-profile case with a lot of twists and turns.
This was an incredibly circumstantial evidence case against both of them. The problem was what they were missing and what they didn't know.
Because of the lack of physical evidence, the lack of a crime scene, one of the things that as prosecutors we always knew we needed was for one of these co-defendants to tell us what happened, to testify against the other one.
We signed what we call a proffer letter saying, if you cooperate, if you testify truthfully, there may be either a reduction in charges or perhaps a reduction in sentence.
Y'all sure you don't know anything? Yeah, sure.
With a lawyer present, Chris Dontel meets with investigators and vows to tell the truth about what happened.
So Chris says that on this night when they went to the Myrtle Beach funeral home after they'd had dinner, that Megan had left some reading glasses.
She said, I need to go see Greg. So she leaves. I stayed at Myrtle Beach Funeral Home. I did not leave.
Dontel tells us Megan Jackson left for a bit, came back.
She said, we have to go. I said, is Greg here? She said, no, but we have to go. She was shaking. I never saw Greg that night. We left.
And the next day it's like, you have to go get rid of the body.
I asked her how she knows he's dead. She said, why? Doesn't matter.
Has Megan ever told you that she killed Greg?
I've asked her so many times because I wanted answers myself, because I've had to answer to this, and my life's been ruined because of this.
He was not really knowing how Greg was killed or when he was killed.
Prosecutors don't believe Chris is telling the truth. And when he refuses to take a polygraph, they turn to Plan B, Megan Jackson. What does she have to say?
This is the part that I didn't tell the truth on.
Chris had a favorite song, a Keith Urban song.
Only You Can Love Me This Way.
'Cause only you can love me in this way.
The night that Chris asked me to be his girlfriend, it was at the Keith Urban concert, and that song was playing.
'Cause only you can love me this way.
You still hear that song? Still listen to it?
Yeah.
Chris Dontel has been in jail for violating the terms of his bond on numerous occasions for having contact with Megan Jackson.
I remember that.
But his wife, Erica, has continued to stick by his side.
So this is a photo from Charlie's preschool graduation, and that was our last family photo all together before his bond was revoked. So just how little they were. I mean, I feel like they're different people now. They're so big.
And the children, do they know that something's not right in the house?
Yeah, they do not know where he is or the situation.
You were trying to protect your kid.
And I never thought that he'd be gone as long as he has been gone.
Megan Jackson was in and out of jail as well for breaking bond conditions. And as pressure mounts, prosecutors offer Megan a chance to tell her side of the story through her own proffer.
Some people call it queen for a day. Like, this is your opportunity. You tell us everything, and we'll see if it's worthwhile.
We're here today because you, through your attorney, have requested to come talk to us today, okay? You are to provide us any and all information in a truthful manner.
Should I start from the beginning?
Megan Jackson says that Dontel had badgered her into luring Greg to the funeral home so that Dontel could confront Greg over spilling news of the affair.
This is the part that naltrexone. I went to pick up Greg. He got out of the car, went into Myrtle Beach Funeral Home, and I gave him a couple minutes. As I got out of the car, Chris started coming out the door. And then I said, well, where's Greg? And he said he wouldn't talk to me. He went out the front.
She says that when she brings Greg back to the funeral home, she just sort of sends him in on his own and then never sees him again. That Dontel told her he had simply walked off in anger, and that was it.
When did you learn that Greg was dead?
After you showed me the body.
So Chris never told you?
Not until several weeks after.
They both claim to be not really knowing how Greg was killed or when he was killed. They're both saying, I didn't have anything to do with it, but there's enough that maybe you should think the other person did it.
Did you shoot Greg Rice?
No.
Were you present when Greg Rice was killed?
No.
Part of your agreement that you have is that you're consenting to a polygraph?
Mm-hmm.
What this case, I think, eventually just turned into is finger pointing, and, you know, she failed the polygraph.
We were trying to get one of the defendants to testify against the other. We met with Megan Jackson, and it never got to the point where we believed we could ethically put her on the stand. We are putting up someone who is going to lie. And we said, okay, well, we listed them both for trial.
A judge decided that the two trials had to be split.
Megan Jackson's attorneys got a continuance, so we said, fine, we'll go forward with Christopher Dontel.
We had a pretty rock-solid case for accessory after the fact to murder. He was on the tape at Lowe's buying the body dump kit. So we made the decision to go forward on both charges, the murder and the accessory after the fact to murder.
Chris did not go to trial until about 4 years after the crimes were committed.
We're going to go ahead and begin this trial.
We had picked a jury. I was actually doing the opening statement, and I was halfway out of my chair when Christopher Dontel's attorney stood up.
And the defense attorney says, Judge, we've got a matter we need to approach.
Christopher Dontel's attorney said he'd like to plead guilty.
Recess.
We immediately hit pause for the trial. What in the world is going on? What's he trying to do here?
A major turn of events just 2 days into the murder trial for former Horry County Deputy Coroner Chris Dontel.
It was a really big deal. I mean, reporters were ready for a week of trial.
All right, hold on. We're going to just put a microphone on you.
And then all of a sudden, he just pleads guilty.
For him to do that was quite shocking, but at the same time, he did not plead guilty to murder.
He pled to accessory after the fact and conspiracy to commit murder.
Hello, Chris.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm John. I'm getting you on this. Why is it so important for you to speak with me today?
The most important reason is so that the Rice family can get closure. The first day I met with my lawyer, when I told her that I would plead to whatever I'm guilty of if I can help bring closure to those kids. I've never even hurt someone, let alone murdered someone.
As soon as he entered the plea, we sat down with the prosecutors and told them the story with the actual missing pieces that he was able to fill in for them.
After he took the plea, Chris says that he will testify against Megan Jackson in her trial.
I'm afraid of her because I watched her kill the father of her kid.
I actually found out about Chris's plea, and that's when I called, and I said that I wanted to testify against my mom. I asked her, what do you mean? And she just wouldn't say anything.
June 2025. All eyes are now on the Horry County Courthouse, where Megan Jackson's trial begins 5 years after the murder of the father of her children, Greg Rice.
This case was a big deal. There was a lot of media buzz.
A trial is currently underway for a woman charged in the 2020 murder of a 46-year-old man.
Mary Ellen Walter and Lee Waller are the prosecutors in the case. Mary Ellen is known to be a bulldog trial attorney.
I don't see how it's not relevant, quite frankly.
And Lee is also a very hardworking prosecutor.
It's the story of an affair, a pregnancy, and a murder. There's one person at the center of everything, and that person is Megan Jackson. She may look meek and mild, but she is a master manipulator. She was literally in the business of death.
Megan Jackson was represented by the Britton family, Tommy Britton, the father, and then Case and Preston Britton, his sons.
I'd like to see a murder weapon. Don't have it. Don't have any eyewitness testimony. I don't have any of that direct evidence. The stuff that a murder case should have.
The very first witness for the prosecution, Megan Jackson's own teenaged daughter, Savannah Rice.
We felt it important to open with Savannah because anytime you have a child testifying against their parent, that sends a strong message. And Savannah, I know you're nervous, I get it.
And how much time had passed since you saw your mom that day in the courtroom?
Almost 5 years.
What did she look like?
She just looked hollow, and just having her sit in front of me, it made me uneasy. She had come home drunk one night, and I was in the kitchen, and my sister she wasn't behaving, and I told my mom, and she started screaming, and my sister was upstairs, but then she looked at me, and she said, "I hope what happened to your dad happens to your sister." And I asked her, "What do you mean?" And she just wouldn't say anything.
What would drive a mom to say that about a daughter?
My mom could be an evil woman.
This is your mother.
And then the prosecution's star witness,
The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Chris Dontel, takes the stand to tell the jury his version of what happened that night.
I drove her van. We drove toward Greg's apartment. I saw Greg on the road walking. I pulled up a few feet, stopped, and she opened the door, and in one motion, spun out of the seat, pulled a gun out, and shot him over and over. I didn't see it coming. Neither did he. We picked him up out of the road and put him onto the stretcher that was in the back of her van.
You've transported hundreds of bodies in your life, and now here you are involved in a real-life murder.
Correct.
And you drove to the funeral home as if this was just another corpse.
Yeah. My emotions were high, but we handled the body just like would any other body.
They had all the tools in the world to assist them in this. You know, they had a body transport van, they had a funeral home, they had a cooler.
I made a cremation container and I put it into the cooler and pushed the stretcher up next to it and started to push Greg in. I went to Lowe's sometime during the day.
Did you realize there were security cameras there?
I did.
Tracking you buying the tarp, the cinder block, ratchet straps?
Yeah, you gotta remember, this is not something that I've ever been involved with. I had no plan.
Chris tells the jury that the following night he heads back here to a place he knows very well, the Myrtle Beach Funeral Home, to dispose of Greg Rice's body.
I waited till it was dark. I unfolded the tarp that I purchased. I put him in my Explorer. I started out toward the river. I went back to the middle of the bridge, popped the back gate of the Explorer. It took about 10 seconds, put him in the water.
Megan's lawyers try to discredit Chris Dontel as dishonest and an admitted liar.
You have lied to the police throughout this process.
Correct.
So what stopped you from going to one of your acquaintances and telling them what happened?
The fact that your client told me that if I did that, she would kill me, and I had watched her kill the father of her kids, so I believed her.
You were still having sex with Megan Jackson afterwards?
Correct, for a period, yes.
You could have said what happened, and you didn't. That family suffered for more than 4 years.
She threatened to kill me.
But after she was jailed, she couldn't kill you.
She kept getting out on bond. Felt like for the last 5 years that I've been looking in the barrel of Megan Jackson's gun.
He made this big cry, oh, I'm afraid of her.
Why did he continue to communicate with her? That's a bunch of baloney. That's crazy.
You know, there's the danger that the jury does not believe everything that Dontel says. So how can we show them that the investigation has corroborated everything he said? And that's where Lieutenant Wells came in.
My name is Benjamin Wells. I do digital forensics and digital extractions on mobile devices.
Erica learns in a really shocking way that her husband is having an affair through anonymous text messages.
Erica Dontel believed that these anonymous texts were coming from Greg Rice.
Through the analysis of her cell phone, it was able to be proved that Megan Jackson was the actual one sending these to Erica Dontel.
They were created on her phone. They were all sent by her.
That was the aha moment, like, wow, she really is trying to, frame Greg, and this is it.
Why would she tell you that she's pregnant by your husband?
I think she thought, oh, I'll tell you this, you'll leave him, and then she'd have him. And then that didn't work because I stayed.
When it's the defense's turn, they call no witnesses. Instead, Megan's lawyers point the finger directly at Chris Dontel in closing arguments.
The only person that actually has a motive to get rid of Greg Rice is Chris Dontel. And can you trust him?
Two fates will be sealed.
As to the charge of murder, we the jury.
And a young woman confronts the demons
We will never be able to live a normal life.
of her past.
Is there anything you would want to tell your mother?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I understand the jury's reached a verdict, is that correct?
Every time a jury deliberates, you wonder how long it's going to take. But I don't think they deliberated that long on this case, truly.
As to the charge of murder, we the jury, by unanimous consent, find this defendant guilty.
And then you hear the word guilty. Relief?
Yeah, also a little bit of heartbreak. It is my mom.
The woman charged in the 2020 murder of 46-year-old Gregory Rice will now spend the rest of her life in prison.
And as for Megan's outstanding charges of child neglect, those charges were dismissed.
She's doing life in prison, so why put the children through that if we're not going to gain anything?
A month later, it's now Chris Dontel's turn to be sentenced.
How are you feeling?
All right.
What do you think will happen?
Yeah, I just hope that he gets the time that he deserves. He hugged me as I cried and begged for my dad to come back. He told me it would be okay and that we would find my dad. He didn't tell me that we would find him dead.
His wife, hoping Chris will walk out free on time served.
Megan Jackson infiltrated all areas of our lives and became the literal antichrist to our family.
To simply keep saying I'm sorry just doesn't feel right. And I don't know that I can effectively articulate the depth of the combination of love, pain, regret, and compassion I feel for those kids and for everyone who loved Greg.
Christopher Dontel ended up being sentenced to 15 years for accessory after the fact and another 5 years for conspiracy, and for those to run consecutive.
Your reaction to what happened in court?
Obviously, I'm not happy about it. I was sentenced to the maximum.
If you could talk to Megan, what would you say to her?
I have nothing to say to her. There's a lot of victims in this case. Gregory Rice and his family. My family.
And you?
I believe so.
With that 20-year sentence, Chris's wife, Erica, needs to have a long delayed conversation with her 2 young children.
They thought that he was away for work, and so I told them that he was in fact in jail. That's where he had been, and then just kind of explained the story the best I could.
I spoke with Megan on the phone, and she told me that she did not shoot Greg Rice, the father of her children. She denies those child abuse allegations, saying that she loves her children very much. And in a letter to 2020, Megan writes, Chris Dontel is a liar. What he said on the stand is a lie.
Is there anything you would want to tell your mother? Or ask your mom?
I just want her to tell me why she did what she did. And to tell her that I hate her, because...
That's a strong word, hate.
Yeah, I hate that woman. I hate her.
Greg and Megan's youngest children are now being raised by their older half-brother, Zach, Greg's son from a previous relationship, while Savannah lives on her own in Ohio. But recently, Savannah found herself back on the shores of Myrtle Beach, where she still has her fond memories of surfing with her dad and his best friend, Ryan.
This was a board that I had designed to surf with Greg, and I'd like to give it to Savannah so she can at least use it and enjoy it.
Your dad, what would you tell him?
That I love him, and that I want him to know that, like, I'm okay.
Case that will confound an Illinois community.
I didn't see any.
Flooding seasoned investigators with no shortage of witnesses.
And then possibly tried to get rid of her, you know.
These interviews happening in this room right here, focusing on one person, one mother of 4, whose sudden and perplexing disappearance sets off alarm bells. It all started at the end of a day's shift, one afternoon in June.
Bonnie Woodward got off around 3 p.m. that day. She was working at what was called Unismith Nursing Home here in Dalton. It was a normal day of work for her.
47 years old, worked at the nursing home for over 25 years, I believe, and just a woman who was reliable.
Being a nurse's aide that's a lot of caregiving.
She did that forever. She loved what she did.
She went to work, she worked her shift, and then would come home to her children every night, as well as Gary Wilmerth, who she was dating at the time.
Gary knew that she had some sort of staff meeting after work from 2 to 3, so he really wasn't expecting her home until, 3:34.
That boyfriend, Gary Wilmerth, says he tries getting a hold of Bonnie around 4 o'clock. But his call goes straight to voicemail.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
Everybody was like, she would call if she was 5 minutes
Oh
late.
no, everything she did was on a schedule.
Nobody had seen her. This was very abnormal for Bonnie. She was always in communication with her family.
After she didn't return home, her family members, they reached out, they tried to call her, they tried to text her, and no response.
And by the next morning, when Bonnie doesn't show up for work, her co-workers are alarmed by something they see in the parking lot.
Her red Chevy Avalanche was still parked at the nursing home, had not moved from the previous date. Windows had been down, even during the overnight hours.
She loved that truck. Like, she worked really hard to get that truck. She absolutely loved it. So she wouldn't have just left it.
At that point, it was clear that there was something wrong. And Gary reported her disappearance to our department the morning of the 26th. When we work on the missing person and we're dealing with an adult, you have to keep in mind the possibility if they just want to take a break. They want to get away from family and friends, and that's natural. Also have to look into what's usual and what's their history.
Detectives assigned to the case soon learn that 47-year-old Bonnie Woodward is a force of nature.
Bonnie survived breast cancer. She was a fierce mother to 4 children.
Bonnie has 2 grown children from her first marriage, Joseph, who's 28, and Jennifer, 26. Bonnie is also mom to 2 stepkids, Heather and Aaron. She adopted them after their father, Bonnie's 3rd husband, passed away.
Heather was about 17 years old at this time, and Aaron was special needs, and she cared for him every day.
Bonnie is also a devoted grandmother. She grew up as one of 9 siblings, so she has a large, extended family. What kind of aunt was she?
She was the aunt that took a second to actually listen to you if something was going on.
And she had a big personality.
Oh, yeah, no, huge personality. Very loving. Her house is where a lot of the cousins all congregated. She had this little case in her living room, and she'd have little figurines and random stuff that had dolphins on it. None of it made sense to me, but she loved them.
So she was the social hub?
Kind of, yeah. She kind of liked having everybody around.
So you knew something was really wrong?
Pretty much.
With the clock ticking, the Alton detectives start their missing person investigation where you'd expect, at the last place she was reportedly seen.
This is where Bonnie worked?
Yes, this Eunice Smith Nursing Home.
And she was a very consistent employee.
Yes, didn't miss any work at all, and certainly wouldn't miss without calling in.
And so where was her car parked?
It was in the spots here.
And the windows were rolled down?
Yeah, windows were rolled down, so you would have to imagine that she expected to come back to the vehicle.
Back here, presumably no surveillance was captured.
No, at that time there was no surveillance back here that we could rely on.
Without any surveillance footage, officers are hopeful that Bonnie's car may actually give them some clues as to what may or may not have happened.
The vehicle, there's no significant damage to it or anything like that that would cause us any alarm. And upon looking at the inside, there was no evidence of a struggle. So we ended up having this vehicle towed to our police department, secured until we could process it and also dust it for prints.
One of the early things was how Bonnie Woodward was really regular with cashing her paycheck. The day she disappeared was payday, and she would, every time she was paid on Fridays, she would take that check to the bank.
That was a ritual.
Ritual. The check never got cashed. She never went to the bank.
Nothing happened with any of her phone, social media, bank accounts, all went dead as of 4 p.m. that day.
And so then we have to look at what other troubles that she may have in her life. We have to look at prior relationships. We have to look at Gary Wilmarth, her current boyfriend.
And so what did you find when you dug into Gary's background?
Gary's got a colorful past. He's a convicted felon, and they've had some domestic issues.
And just for the record, sir, what is your name, your full name?
Gary, G-A-R-Y.
Okay.
Wilmarth, W-I-L-M-U-R-T-H.
Bonnie was the love of my life, and she was a good-hearted woman, and I mean, she put up with me, and I mean, that wasn't easy.
When Gary's talking to police, he tells them that they've been an on and off couple for about 7 years.
Everything good over the past 10 months between you two? Ever any arguments or fights or domestics?
Little money problem, you know, because construction's slow.
Right.
But we've been working it out.
I mean, I'm not a good boy. I mean, I've had a record myself in the past. I've paid my time, and Bonnie knew that. Bonnie still loved me. She didn't care what I did in my past. And these cops sure did.
Have you heard anything from her at all since
Nothing.
then? Nothing.
Nothing.
Bonnie's daughter, Jennifer, alibied him at home.
And Gary was waiting for her to get home because
She said they were both there the whole day together.
And ultimately, he did end up doing a polygraph examination and passed it.
But as investigators start talking to Bonnie's co-workers, they learn she was last seen getting into a strange car with an unknown man.
I guess I had never seen the man before.
The police wondered, could Bonnie be having an affair? Or was it something worse?
Nothing is out of the realm of possibility. How did she know this person?
I mean, Mom had to have known the person she got into the car with.
Going into its third day, a baffling mystery is unfolding in Alton, Illinois, a river town outside St. Louis. Nurse's aide and mom of 4, Bonnie Woodward, vanishes in broad daylight just before her 48th birthday.
Alton, it's a nice little town. It's situated on the Mississippi River and the Illinois River. It has a vibrant downtown, a lot of history, and it's a great place to live and work.
So, with no sign of Bonnie anywhere, her family goes to the media, her older brother tearfully pleading with the public.
I want my sister. Somebody please call us and let us know what's going on. We don't know nothing.
Nobody wanted this case solved more than her siblings.
Whoever has my sister, please let her go.
Bonnie's sister, Rebecca, and her niece, Rachel, don't hesitate to join in on the efforts, making the 700-mile drive to Alton from their home in Louisiana.
Why were you concerned enough to get in the car and start driving?
Well, because she wouldn't just not come home. I just remember having a stack of flyers and going around and putting them on every telephone pole that I could.
The police naturally talked to the people that had last seen Bonnie.
Can I get your last name?
Bosley, B-A-U-S-I-L-Y.
Wanda Bosley was one of the co-workers that worked with Bonnie at the Eunice Smith Nursing Home.
We have to find out how Bonnie was during the day. Was she acting appropriate? Was she, upset about anything?
Okay, and so you went into this meeting, she was in the meeting. You got out around 3 o'clock and what happened then?
So, well, at first, in the meeting, I just want to say Bonnie's, when she talks, she's loud, and she seemed different to me. She was quiet, and her voice was more mellow like mine now, and I remember thinking, man, Bonnie seems a little different today.
After that staff meeting, Wanda says she headed to the back parking lot to get into her car. Out of the corner of her eye, she spots Bonnie. And she's not alone.
She was standing, say if this is the back of her truck, the guy was standing here. And I was looking, and Bonnie had walked up the side of her truck to the driver's door. And the guy was just standing there. I didn't see anything strange, but it kind of seemed strange because I guess I had never seen the man before.
Can you describe the guy for me?
He was a white male. He looked like he wasn't very tall, maybe 5'8", 5'9" or so. Mm-hmm. He was like a medium-sized guy. His hair was a salt and pepper, more grayer than black.
Turns out, Wanda is not the only coworker to have witnessed this strange sighting. Multiple people report to police seeing this mystery man sitting in a gray or silver sedan similar to a Chevy Malibu, waiting for Bonnie to get out of her staff meeting.
So the gray Chevy Malibu was directly to the right of her vehicle.
Plenty of people saw him.
Yeah, after the meeting, people would see her interacting with him outside both vehicles and ultimately got into the car with him.
She did get into the car willingly, and it did not appear that she was forced or anything like that.
Police in Alton need the public's help finding a missing woman, 48-year-old Bonnie Woodward.
The information regarding the person that people had seen on that parking lot was crucial.
She reportedly was seen talking to someone inside a gray or silver Chevy Malibu.
So talking to the family and friends, did anybody like a past relationship match the description?
You don't know anybody off the top of your head who would have a silver Malibu?
Her ex-boyfriend, Chester, Nick Adams. Chester's dad has a 2009 Impala. If you put an Impala and the Malibu side by side, there's just a little bit of difference. It'd be hard to tell the difference.
That's true. Who does this guy sound like to you?
Chester McAdams. That's the only guy I can figure out that fits the description. It's Chester. I mean, I don't like to pinpoint a guy out, but Chester fits every description. And like the silver Impala, his dad has a silver Impala.
Do you know that for sure?
Yeah, because he used to date my mom.
Chester McAdams piques the detective's interest not only because he dated Bonnie for a year, but he also has an extensive criminal record.
Bonnie started to see him, and then I showed back up in the picture and ran him off. Me and Bonnie's been together probably 7 or more years. We parted about a little over 2 years, and that's when she got with that Chester guy. And
You and Chester ever have words?
oh, big time.
Big time hate each other?
Oh, I mean,
Fist fights?
I run into him in the bar. He was mad because me and Bonnie got back together. So I kind of thought maybe he was upset and might have did something to her.
And sir, for the record, I just need your last name.
McAdam, capital M, small c, capital A-D-A-M-S.
And your first, sir?
Chester.
With Chester, it was a very rocky relationship that Bonnie had with him.
We'd break up, she'd kick me out, and I'd be gone for a week or so, and then I'd be moved back in.
I've been down that road.
Okay, so then, then it would be 2 or 3 months, and then I'd be kicked out again, and then back and forth. And then about 2 months before Gary got out, she kicked me out, and then next thing I know, Gary's living there.
The family largely was saying, hey, you guys need to look at Chester McAdams. When we found Chester McAdams, he's got a beard, he's got a ponytail.
Chester clearly doesn't match the description of the man co-workers saw days earlier in the parking lot with Bonnie. But what about that tip from Bonnie's daughter, Jennifer, who said Chester's father drives a silver Chevy Impala? Detectives want to talk it over with father and son.
Do you ever drive his truck or Impala or anything like that? Do you ever allow him to borrow it for any reason?
No. I would never ask my dad to borrow his vehicle.
He'd say no.
Well, I know I'd say no right off the bat. So,
Right. Don't even bother asking.
Don't even bother asking.
Well, I mean, we're investigating this missing person.
Right.
It could be more than missing. I mean, we could have a big problem.
Yes,
And
yes.
it could be nothing.
Right.
It could be nothing.
Right. I mean, I hope it's nothing.
Chester McAdams was willing and cooperative with us, ultimately did not have direct access to a vehicle that was like that, and also we checked in with his employer and they confirmed that he was at work, so that was a dead end for us.
The family of a missing Alton woman is now offering a $5,000 reward to anyone who can find her.
You have crime in this area, but you don't have missing adults too often. We have people that run away, but they're always found. But this one, she just fell off the face of the earth.
We need to find my sister. We're running out of time. Everybody knows the first 3 days is critical.
With both Gary and Bonnie's ex cleared, detectives are hitting walls left and right. But they're about to be floored by some information that reveals a disturbing coincidence in the Woodward family. Turns out Bonnie wasn't the only missing person in that household.
Correct.
I need my daddy.
Bonnie Woodward's disappearance is the talk of the small town in Illinois she called home.
Bonnie Woodward has been missing.
Friends and family were gathering to pray for her return. We need to find my sister. We're running out of time.
Investigators are frustrated and increasingly concerned.
We were doing missing person flyers, talking to local media. We were trying to push this out there as much as we can.
Maybe somebody saw her somewhere at a bus station, at a train station, in a cab, at the mall. We're trying to get any kind of lead that'll take us where we need to go.
But they're all kind of wild goose chases.
Right.
It's as if she's vanished into thin air.
Right, and it wasn't without leads. Somebody would say they saw somebody similar in Pontoon Beach, Applebee's in Kansas City, but none of them appeared to have much merit.
We had to expand our investigation and look into everything about her life that was going on at that time.
You discover, wait, she's not the only missing person in that household.
Right, right. It turns out that her stepdaughter, Heather Woodward, had been reported missing to the East Alton Police Department more than a week before.
East Alton Police Department, which is a separate police department from ours. So we were not aware of that at the time that Bonnie went missing. There was nothing 100% that told us that the two were linked. So at that point, we're having to do a dual investigation.
This is a huge coincidence in a small town that a mother and stepdaughter go missing in the same house. Huge, huge. Remember, Heather Woodward is Bonnie's 17-year-old stepdaughter. Bonnie adopted Heather and her brother Aaron after their dad passed away when Heather was just 8.
After Bonnie adopted them, it was made very abundantly clear they're in the family. Like, those are her kids.
The house is a busy one, with Bonnie's adult daughter Jennifer and her 2 little girls, plus Heather, Aaron, and boyfriend Gary, all living under one roof. And the family tells detectives there was friction between Heather and Bonnie.
It was an unhappy teenager, and it was a stepmom giving her chores to do, and there was a little resistance. At some point they argue, and Heather wants to move out, and Bonnie initially doesn't resist the idea.
Our investigation revealed that around June 10th, Heather went with her teacher, that was Christine Scheffel, and Bonnie knew about this.
That teacher pictured in the high school yearbook along with Heather. Heather moved in with her just 2 weeks before Bonnie vanished. And now that both Bonnie and Heather are missing, investigators have lots of questions.
I'm here with the Christine Scheffel.
I wanted to get the history of how she became engaged with Heather's life. And then the number one question is, where is she now? She was last with you, where is she at?
I had Heather now for 1 class as a freshman. For the entire year, she has been very vocal to myself and all the other teachers of the abuse that goes on at home. Things like being slapped or thrown against a wall or woke up at 3 in the morning to wash every dish in the house. Just plain crazy stuff.
And who's the one she's alleging that does all this?
Bonnie.
We knew that East Alton Police Department was aware of these reports, and we could not get anything to substantiate these reports.
Heather painted a picture of your aunt as being abusive. What do you make of those allegations of abuse?
I can't see it. I can see her being loud with anybody, child or not, and like just being vocal, but not abusive. Like, there was no way.
Heather has been telling everyone for over a year that when she turns 18, she will be kicked out. She called and said that I'm getting kicked out and I need you to come get me.
The teacher is, I believe her heart was in the right place as she's trying to help this 17-year-old child.
Bonnie called us and wanted Heather back. So, and I did tell her she had to go back home. So she cried most of the night.
And then whenever you came back on the 17th, she was gone.
Right.
So now, according to this teacher, Heather leaves her home on the 17th. That same day, Bonnie reports Heather as a runaway.
Bonnie went knocking on doors. It was driving Bonnie nuts because she couldn't find her.
In obtaining the reports, it was clear that Bonnie wanted to find her stepdaughter, and she was not getting the information she wanted from the teacher, and she was adamant that no matter what, she was going to find her.
And now, detectives aren't making much headway in finding Heather either. The teacher who Heather had been living with says she has no idea where Heather might have gone.
There was nothing that we could really prove that she knew where Heather was, but clearly I'm still skeptical. Are they telling the whole truth?
She never called you back once to say, hey, I'm okay, or don't worry about me, or anything like that?
No.
With her lack of intent on trying to find Heather, and if she was that much of a mentor to her, why wasn't she more concerned about Heather's whereabouts if she didn't know?
To us, it seems odd. Are you concerned about her welfare? It's odd that she hasn't called you, is what I'm a little concerned with.
I believe that she's with somebody. I mean, I don't think that she's off by herself. But I think she just doesn't want to make sure I don't get in trouble or, you know. I mean, she's a smart kid.
Heather's teacher's interview only raises more questions for investigators. Are these disappearances linked? And if so, how? As investigators, you're fairly convinced that she might have had something to do with the disappearance, or at the very least, know something.
We think the two events have to be linked some way. Two missing persons from the same house, one a juvenile and one adult, like, you almost have to believe they're related. Like, it's really naive to think they're not.
After almost a week and no sign of Bonnie, her family's anguish turns pointed, lashing out at that mystery man from the parking lot.
You let my sister go, and I'll come and get her. I want my sister.
I felt like Heather had the answers that we needed. We believe she was the key to finding Bonnie.
And that's when police get a game-changing phone call from a nearby library.
I had heard it over the police scanners. It was very strange.
It seems someone showed up there with a teddy bear and a story to tell.
Pee, Mr. Bear.
Summer is in full swing here in Alton, Illinois. Backyard barbecues, 4th of July fireworks. Bonnie Woodward used to host these kinds of events, but not this year. She's been missing for a week. And in a twist, her teenage stepdaughter is missing too. Until out of the blue, 8 days after Bonnie vanished, through these doors walks the missing teenager, Heather Woodward.
The East Alton Police Department received the call from the library that there's a person saying that she's Heather Woodward. With all the speculation going around, I wanted to hear what she had to say.
They got Heather and took her to the police station, and I thought, man, they're gonna find out something now.
And would you state your name, please?
Heather Woodward.
And your birthday, Heather?
Today.
Physical condition for Heather was not of anything that was of a concern. There was no injury to her. Clearly, she had been being taken care of.
What do you know about the whole situation with Bonnie and everything?
What I read in the paper.
Okay.
That's it.
And I guess you read in the paper that you were also listed as a runaway also?
And I was planning on coming home on my birthday. That was the plan, so I didn't have to go back to Bonnie's house.
I was taken back that how can she be actually 18 years of age?
Like these stupid, small, claustrophobic rooms. I need my daddy. I have to pee, Mr. Bear.
But she's clutching a teddy bear.
Yes. July 3rd is her 18th birthday, so she's a bona fide adult in the state of Illinois, but she talks more like a, well, I don't want to be insulting, but like a grade school student or a junior high student.
I'm tired. I'm ready for my nap. I need my books. I need my books. I need my books.
She showed up at a library. What did you think?
That it was absolute.
What do you mean by that?
Like, why are you showing up at a library? Who brought you? Where did you come from? Where have you been?
Something doesn't smell right.
Pretty much.
What made the decision that you would go to the library? Why not to the police department or something?
Because I always go to the library. I walk there all the time, and I wasn't comfortable walking to the police station.
Do you think you're in any trouble?
I don't know. I'm scared.
Yes, you had a lot of people concerned about you. We don't know what happened to you. We don't know what happened to Bonnie.
I haven't talked to my mom.
Heather's thought of it wasn't that big of a deal that Bonnie had disappeared. It didn't come across to me that she had a lot of concern about where Bonnie was at the time.
What do you think happened to her?
I don't know. I thought that maybe she hid to draw me out, and then she'll come out now that she knows that I'm home.
That's what you thought? Why would you think that?
Because sometimes that's just the way Bonnie is, and she can be mean, and I don't know, she's just mean.
You know, I gave her the safe space to talk to me about situations in the home, and pretty much the extent of it was that she was being made to do chores and clean the house. You know, typical things that I think a lot of teenagers and youths do and should be doing.
Because I'm not going back there to be slave labor and a free babysitter. I just couldn't do it no more.
From what she told multiple people, she was being physically and verbally, mentally abused. You know, it doesn't go beyond the realm of possibility that maybe she was embellishing more about that relationship between her and Bonnie to pull the heartstrings of people that, you know, were close to her, that could be of assistance to her.
And one of those people, police begin to realize, may have been that teacher, Christine Scheffel, who took Heather in.
Miss Scheffel's been there for me for 4 years. And she was afraid for me to go home because Bonnie can be mean and sometimes she hits.
there was an investigation into Bonnie's parenting.
Yeah, it's DCFS, Department of Children and Family Services, and they had been involved before.
And what did they find?
It was unfounded. There's no evidence of significant abuse.
Do you think Heather was manipulating adults into thinking that her stepmother was evil?
I don't know if she was intentionally manipulating adults, but that was definitely what happened.
One thing's clear to investigators. Heather was in someone else's care in the 2 weeks after she left that teacher's house, during that critical time when Bonnie went missing. So now, of course, detectives are curious, who was she with? And why is Heather protecting them?
And then I went to stay at a friend's house.
Okay, and who was that?
Just a friend. I don't want to get him in trouble. So, just a friend. They helped me. And they knew the situation, so.
Well, you know I have to ask who it is.
She was very resistant to talk at all about where she had been or what she's been doing and who with.
They're not gonna get in trouble, are they?
Well, I don't know about that.
They don't know nothing. They don't like Bonnie. I don't want to know where Bonnie's at.
And as seasoned investigators, you thought she's hiding something?
Yes, and we had to push hard enough to get that information.
They told me they didn't know Bonnie was missing, and I don't want to get him in trouble. And then it'll be all my fault. I didn't mean to cause no trouble, and I didn't know Bonnie was gonna go missing.
So now, another layer to this mystery.
She was painting a pretty ugly picture of her stepmother.
And might that have motivated somebody to try to protect her?
Sure.
Are they just good Samaritans or something else?
There's maybe more to this than just taking care of Heather.
The trail will lead detectives down these winding roads into truly uncharted territory.
We didn't see that coming from a mile away.
Bonnie Woodward disappeared in Alton June 25th at about 3 in the afternoon after getting off work. Her family members haven't seen or heard from her since that day.
Bonnie Woodward has been missing for over a week. Her boyfriend of 7 years, Gary Wilmerth, says he catches glimpses of her in every passing stranger.
There was times I could be at a store, pass somebody on the street, could be the color of their hair. I remember talking to her grandbabies. They said, "Are you gonna bring Grandma back? You got a picture of these little bitty girls looking at me. Where's Grandma?" I just thought in my heart she was gonna come back. And I wasn't taking no for an answer. She was coming back.
And investigators say they aren't taking no for an answer either. Bonnie's now 18-year-old stepdaughter, Heather Woodward, who also strangely went missing a week before Bonnie, has now suddenly reappeared.
Okay, Heather, we just need to ask you a few things here.
After hours of questioning from detectives, Heather seems finally ready to reveal the identity of the people she says helped her run away.
They're not gonna get in trouble, are they?
I don't know about that, but I want to at least know where you been. I want to make sure that you were safe.
I stayed with some people from the church.
Do they have any kids your age?
Nathan. He's my best friend.
Okay. So is Nathan Carroll's family? Okay.
The police department had learned that she had been at the Carroll house. Heather had told Roger Carroll and Monica Carroll that she had run away from home because Bonnie was mean to her, and that she had gone to the Carroll house to hide from Bonnie until she turned 18.
Both Monica and Roger were in the medical field, and their son Nathan was a typical 16-year-old high school student. There was no criminal history on record for them, no police involvement, no arrests or anything like that.
The Carrolls go to the same church in Wood River. So the Carrolls get to know Heather, I think, on church-related activities.
And one of those church activities they went to, a graduation party for Heather and other seniors, just 2 weeks before Bonnie went missing.
We obviously had to explore the avenue of, are they involved with Bonnie?
I think the police were like, well, they had, Heather at the house, then what else do they know?
We went to their listed address in the Jersey County area. They're living in among 60 acres of property. It's just a lot of wooded, open land.
What jumps out at you about Roger Carroll?
He's in his 40s with the brownish gray hair, 5'10"-ish. His primary car is a silver 2005 Chevrolet Malibu, which is the suspect vehicle description.
We towed the vehicle to our police department and ultimately processed this vehicle for any evidence related to our case.
This investigation is now shifting into high gear. Monica and Roger Carroll come in for questioning.
You are Roger William Carroll, Jr.
I don't want to answer any more questions until we speak with our attorney.
Okay. You decided to invoke your right to counsel, correct? Yes.
Heather Woodward, Bonnie's stepdaughter, is also called in again the very same day and pressed for more information about the day Bonnie went missing.
What do you know about Bonnie leaving and what happened whenever she left or was?
The resident came for, I know that she got in the car with some guy and they drove off, that's all I know.
Did they talk about the car?
Yeah, it was a silver and gray car, Malibu. That's it, that's all I know.
Does that
I know
sound like any car that you're familiar with?
No. Oh, besides Roger's car.
Okay.
But Roger wouldn't hurt a fly.
Investigators then confront Heather with a new piece of information. They found out that she and the Carrolls were together at a lake house in the days just before Bonnie went missing.
They went down to Monica's parents in Goreville, Illinois, on a small trip, just the four of them.
And detectives grow even more suspicious when Heather shares that Roger and his son Nathan returned home by themselves on the same day Bonnie disappeared.
Roger and Nathan came home on Friday. We came home on Saturday, me and Monica.
Why did they leave on Friday?
Monica told me that he just wanted to get home, and he made Nathan go with him.
He brought Nathan with him, got up and left at 7 o'clock in the morning on June 25th, Friday morning, the day Bonnie disappeared.
Now, the question I have here is the guy that meets with Bonnie up at the nursing home, he's in a gray Malibu, silver gray Malibu. How do I know that Roger's not the one that met with Bonnie up there that Friday?
I don't know. Roger... Bonnie's never met Roger, so I don't know why she'd get in the car with him.
What if he told her, hey, I know where Heather is. Why don't you come with me and you pick her up?
I don't...
Do you think Bonnie would have gotten in the car with him then?
No, she doesn't care about me.
So you have a lot of circumstantial evidence, but nothing that cracks the case open.
It is all circumstantial.
There wasn't enough to link Roger Carroll or Monica Carroll to Bonnie's disappearance. However, both of them at that time were charged with harboring a runaway.
Both Roger and Monica plead not guilty to this charge, but this turns out to be a helpful tool for investigators.
In getting those charges, we can also get fingerprints, we can get photographs.
And then you put Roger in a lineup.
We did. We used this mugshot primarily with the employees at Unismith.
And that did not come up with a match.
It did not. That resulted in no positive IDs.
The family members must be chomping at the bit at this point.
They are, but sometimes the cases move when they want to move.
Did you feel like there had to have been somebody out there that knew more than they were saying?
I think anybody that is just trying to locate a loved one often feels like somebody's not talking or somebody's lying.
Summer winds to a close without Bonnie Woodward and without answers, until news of a body found on the banks of the Mississippi River here in Alton, Illinois, leaves her loved ones holding their breath.
Every time a body comes up, we call. 51 days exactly. She's been gone, and we have not one solid answer.
That body, it turns out, is not Bonnie Woodward. But a break in the case is coming. The lab results from Bonnie's abandoned truck are back, and the results are stunning.
The crime lab comes back with a very significant hit.
Yes.
You understand what we're trying to tell you right now? There's new physical evidence in this case.
I said we have to jump now. This is our time.
I'm thinking I'm gonna die.
It's crazy, absolutely crazy.
Okay, we are recording.
I said, stop it, just stop doing this. Let me go, just let me go. I'll do anything you want me to do, just let me go.
Tonight, a third woman in danger who broke the bizarre mystery.
Bonnie Woodward disappeared in Alton
of a
June
missing mother.
I didn't mean to cause no trouble, and I didn't know Bonnie was gonna go missing.
Who's been hiding daughter Heather? And could Bonnie have ended up in the same place?
Family members must be chomping at the bit at this point.
It was a needle in a haystack. We had 60 acres of property. We didn't know where to look, what to look for. Nathan, you've agreed to walk us through a few areas that are of interest in our investigation.
We got a hit on the prints.
And on a scale of 1 to 10 of your suspicion level, where did it go?
Yeah, it spiked.
Any idea what they were? Little pieces of white things, but I don't know exactly what it was.
The family's falling apart, and we have to jump now. This is our time.
She now is starting to put everything together and is fearing for her own life at the same time.
He said, I have killed for you. I have killed for you.
That sounds like bingo.
Summer has turned to fall in Alton, Illinois. 48-year-old mom and nurse's aide Bonnie Woodward hasn't been seen in over 3 months. That's an eternity in a missing persons case.
We didn't know technically if she was alive or dead in the months that followed. None of her family members heard from her.
But the Illinois State Police Crime Lab has been busy processing evidence, including fingerprints found on Bonnie's truck.
In September, prints come in.
Right. I got a phone call from my evidence technician who told me we got a hit on the prints. It's Roger Carroll's. So Roger Carroll's fingerprints are on this driver's door.
And on a scale of 1 to 10 of your suspicion level, where did it go?
Yeah, it spiked.
Roger Carroll is brought in again for questioning, while police, now with probable cause, conduct a massive search at the Carroll's sprawling rural residence.
It was a needle in a haystack. We had 60 acres of property. We didn't know where to look, what to look for.
Neighbors are stunned by the police operation.
It's crazy, absolutely crazy. Couldn't believe it, the amount of police that were coming by.
And we had more than 60 police officers.
Multiple agencies.
We had a lot of people. We had cadaver dogs.
And an airborne search.
And an airborne search, yes.
Oh, there was probably close to 30 firearms at this residence. Multiple crates of ammunition were also seen.
Oh, I thought they was gonna find a body or something.
The cadaver dogs did alert on certain areas of the property, but subsequent digs of those areas revealed no results.
Meanwhile, this time in the police interrogation room for a second interview, Roger is more chatty.
My mom, she's like, oh my God, did you do this? I'm like, Mom, no, I didn't do it.
Roger tells investigators that he invited Bonnie's daughter Heather to stay with him and his family, only after becoming concerned about her account of a troubled home life.
So then Heather calls you guys.
Yes. I could hear her crying. She was just frantic, you know.
Right.
Oh my God. Bonnie called and said that she's gonna come get me tomorrow, that I have to pack my stuff up, and you know, I don't know what I'm gonna do, and
Right. So she kind of played on your soft hearts and said, can I come stay there?
She never said, can I come stay? Just to be honest about it, I'm the one who said, hey, you know, this is a bunch of crap, why don't we just go, you know, she can stay with us.
Okay, okay.
I'm the one that said that.
As far as Bonnie, you've never had a conversation with that woman? And you
During this interview that she didn't have anything to do with it.
Bonnie went missing around 2 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And his prints are on Bonnie's truck. What do you think?
I don't know. Because I would never want nothing to happen to Bonnie. I mean, sometimes you know, she's mean, but I wouldn't do that to her. I didn't tell him to touch Bonnie. She was the only thing I knew. I wouldn't hurt her.
The police process Roger's gray sedan, but here's the thing. They don't find any fibers or DNA belonging to Bonnie or even her fingerprints. And they don't come up with much of the Carroll house either.
After the search in September, there was really no evidence found at the residence that 100% put Bonnie there at the Carroll property.
When you take somebody to trial for first-degree murder, you better be right and you better be ready because you only get one shot.
We still didn't have Bonnie's remains. We didn't know if Bonnie was alive or dead at that time. And what we did know is that Roger Carroll was lying. Roger Carroll, based on the lies that he told, was charged with the offense of obstruction.
Family members and friends felt that he needed to be charged with murder, but based on it only being a circumstantial case at this point, that would have been quite a stretch for us.
So the case goes cold. Your aunt is still missing. What was that like for your family?
I know that it was very hard emotionally for many family members.
It would take 8 years and one newly installed prosecutor combing through a pile of Madison County cold cases.
And the first one you stumbled on was Bonnie Woodward.
First one, Bonnie Woodward.
To breathe life back into Bonnie Woodward's investigation.
Jennifer Mudge decides to try to open a cold case, but even before you could relaunch anything, you get a startling phone call.
I got a call from Roger Carroll's neighbor, and he's asking me, he's like, do you know what's going on at the Carroll's house?
I said, God, Roger, stop it!
Chicken noodle soup?
Don't be embarrassed. 2020 gets a glimpse of life with their father.
Favorite thing to do is play with my dad.
After losing their mother.
Each have their own,
Mine, hers.
you know, and they separate pants from shirts.
I pick mine and then he picks hers.
But I have to okay hers.
Yes.
Why?
Because she likes spaghetti straps.
But I don't wear them to school. I'm not allowed.
And during this last year, he was a single parent, working and taking care of these girls. They emotionally attached to their dad very strongly, the younger one especially.
This is my favorite toy because it used to be my dad's when he was a little kid.
Once Matt was released, he went on kind of a press tour.
He tried to tell the world his side of the story.
Would Matt Baker have the nerve to actually interview for and take, do a photo shoot with Texas Monthly? Yes, he would.
Pretty much anybody who wanted to talk with him, Matt Baker had an open door.
Tonight on 2020, was it suicide or murder?
The story goes national, and Matt Baker sits down with 2020 for an interview. He proclaims his innocence and denies he had an affair with Vanessa Bowles.
It was a friend, it was a very good friend, but there's nothing there now. I don't believe in adultery, I don't believe in divorce.
The problem was that for him was that he changed his story a little bit every time he gave one.
Matt tells 2020 that it was the police who found that suicide note.
One of the police officers found it and handed it to me, and I held it in my hands for a brief moment, and I looked at the first line, and I handed it back and said, I can't read it right now.
But listen as Matt refers to that suicide note in his 911 call.
My wife is laying in the bed, and her lips are blue, hands are cold, and there's a note that says, I'm sorry, basically.
There's no way I could ever have hurt my wife. I loved her. She's the mother of my children, and I missed her, and I did not hurt my wife.
We felt validated with the arrest, but I'm going to tell you right now, all the arrests in the world mean nothing without a good prosecution.
The Texas Rangers made an arrest on the case, and the case was then transferred to our office. And I believed that Matt had killed Carrie, but I didn't feel like that we had the proof to take it to a trial and get a conviction.
If you get an acquittal, it's over.
6 months after Matt Baker's arrest, the murder charge is dismissed after prosecutors failed to indict him.
It was frustrating, but I mean, we knew it would take time and we weren't going to stop.
People started running around town with bumper stickers that said "Justice for Carrie." Love trumps evil was underneath it.
We had truth on our side. We had God on our side.
We had Bill Johnston and
we were going to continue civilly.
But his story was not adding up anymore. You wouldn't have left those two girls there if you didn't think it was safe.
And would Matt's account of what he says he did when he found Carrie check out?
He's not winded, and he's perfectly calm while he's talking. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't think it happened that way, John. I just don't.
When the criminal case was stalled and it wasn't going forward, Bill Johnston filed a wrongful death case, and that allowed him to subpoena Matt Baker for a deposition.
It's the lower left of the...
2.5 years after the death of his wife, Matt Baker is on the hot seat, answering questions under oath about the night she died.
About 10:45-ish, a little before 11, she asked me if I could run a couple of errands.
Now, had she sort of refreshed herself and gotten awake and got forward thinking by that time?
I mean, it was still kind of that half awake, just talking, but still kind of real drowsy.
I'm conjecturing that it went through his mind that maybe she already took all the sleeping pills before he left. Was she aware enough that you could observe that she could handle if the kids needed her, for instance?
I would, yeah, I felt that she probably could.
She had to be fine, or else she was incapacitated and he was a bad father and he just left his girls with an incapacitated person. Which one is it, Matt? So he chose the high road, that yes, Carrie was fine. So if Carrie's fine, she's not getting ready to die.
Bill was able to ask him question after question after question and get answers from him that were very helpful.
While you have the phone pressed against your shoulder, you put on her panties first, is that correct?
I believe that's right.
And then what did you do?
And I put on her shirt.
Okay, and she's on the bed at this time?
Correct.
But Matt had told police a different version of how he dressed Carrie that night.
So I put the panties on her in the bed as I was getting her out, and then when she was on the floor, I put her shirt on.
The clothing, it appears consistent, especially her panties, as to how you would typically find if they were put on by the individual, not somebody else, with a lady who is not able to assist.
If he would lie about dressing her, why? And he wanted to explain their body was cold by saying she was nude on top of the bed, as if she would have aired out, cooled off. Just a stick figure put where she came to rest once you moved. How difficult was that to move her?
I guess at the time you don't even think about it. You just do what you have to do.
We wanted to know if Matt's story holds up, so we asked Texas Ranger Matt Cawthon to put it to the test with a dummy roughly the same weight as Carrie's at the time of her death.
He would have had to reposition the body. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't think it happened that way, John. I just don't.
How much time would
У меня есть друг Валентин, он такой один, Валентин позвонил мне с утра, и он разбудил меня. Он мне позвонил и сказал, чтобы я приехал туда куда? А вон туда. Я приехал, он тут стоял один, а потом сказал: прости. Да. Валентин, Валек.
have had to do this between the call to 911 and the chest compressions?
About 2 minutes.
To dress her, put her body on the floor, all while on the phone with 911. We're going to see if you can do this. I'm going to put a stopwatch to it, and here we go. And you're doing it as fast as you can.
Well, I'm doing it the best I can. And I feel the phone about to fall.
We're at 48 seconds now. We're about 1:20.
He's having a conversation with the 911 operator, and he's not winded, and he's perfectly calm while he's talking to the 911 operator.
That's 1:57 seconds. And then
just to get her dressed. That doesn't include the removing from the bed and the chest compressions.
And I know how to do CPR.
Oh, you do? In listening to the 911 call, it sounded phony.
Do I need to go unlock the front door?
I'll let you know when they start getting close, okay?
Okay.
I think he'd give himself an Oscar, and I'd give him a Rotten Tomato.
Just keep doing compression.
I would not have known at the time when I got there that he had been doing CPR.
You're still doing compressions?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
he did not sound winded on the phone.
No, not at all. He didn't have to do chest compressions because she was already dead. He killed her, I think, before he left to go run alibi errands.
Despite Matt's inconsistencies, prosecutors feel they need more, so they bring in a new detective to help with the investigation.
My name is Abden Rodriguez, and in 2009, I was a criminal investigator for the McLennan County District Attorney's Office.
I hear they call you the human lie detector?
I guess because of some of the confessions that I was able to get.
Abdon is asked to review the case and find evidence that would help indict Matt Baker.
I wanted to look at the interviews that had been done. There was a lot of deception, you know, and I could see how, especially Vanessa was doing it.
How many times a week would you talk, you think, prior to her death? Once every day for a couple hours, and maybe midday, or?
Sometimes a couple times a day.
As you can see, she's got her arms crossed and her legs crossed. That's a big red flag to me.
When she passed away that week, how were the conversations? Were they kind of the same way they were before?
They were really the same.
And I told him, and I said, look, the whole key to this case is going to be Vanessa Booth. She's pretty and very smooth and friendly, but at the same time, you know she's a liar.
We didn't know if she might have even been involved.
After interviewing Vanessa, Abdon decides to subpoena her to testify in front of a grand jury.
I said, I'm gonna be there and I'm gonna listen to your testimony. And I said, and as soon as you lie, I'm gonna file charges on you.
When they brought Vanessa Bowles in for the grand jury, that was kind of a last-ditch effort.
So we're like, okay, let's see what happens.
As she and I were walking down the hall, she whispered to me, I'm going to tell y'all everything.
Behind closed doors, Vanessa Bull's grand jury testimony is the last step in getting Matt Baker indicted.
A former preacher charged with the murder of his wife.
Finally, Vanessa's testimony is the smoking gun.
Yes, it was. It was. She had everything we needed.
The civil case was dropped at that point in order to let the criminal case continue.
Matt Baker is charged with first-degree murder, accused of drugging and suffocating his wife, Carrie, and making it look like a suicide. He pleads not guilty. Now, 4 years after his wife's death, Matt Baker is on trial for her murder.
That first day of the trial, the gallery was full.
We have a lot of people here in the gallery today.
True crime author Catherine Casey was in the courtroom every day.
I followed this story from the first time it hit the Texas newspapers. It was just so fascinating that this had unfolded, especially in Waco, in this city that's just dominated by religion.
Prosecutors began poking holes in Matt's story from that night, starting with the 911 call and his claim that he performed CPR on Carrie.
We're going to go ahead and do compressions. You're going to do it fast and hard 400 times. 400? 400 times.
Did any police officers arrive before you?
I was the first one there.
And what did he tell you?
He pulled her off the bed and put her on the floor in order to do CPR.
And what was his demeanor?
Very calm.
Did that strike you as odd?
Yes.
Even as a police officer, I would not be as calm as he was that night.
There was no way that in that period of time he was able to move her, dress her, and was doing CPR while he was having this conversation.
He wasn't sweating. He did not seem to be in any type of physical distress.
The computer expert found incredible evidence regarding searches, regarding suicide, regarding sleeping pills, and regarding Ambien, which became critical.
Can you tell the jury what was extracted from the muscle tissue of Carrie Baker?
We found 3 different drugs, phentermine, diphenhydramine, and zolpidem. And then zolpidem, and its common name is Ambien.
We never were able to determine where he got the Ambien from.
But we were able to determine that he was going to these websites and that he had gotten as far as putting Ambien in a cart.
Defense attorney Guy Gray pointed out that there was no evidence that Matt actually ordered Ambien from that website.
They went through the process of looking at it, but it was aborted and no purchase of Ambien was made. Correct?
Yes.
No further question.
You state your name for the jury, please.
Joanne Bristol.
Joanne Bristol, Carrie's grief counselor, testified about those comments she says Carrie made about Matt.
She said, "I'm thinking my husband is going to kill me," but she recanted the statement.
How do you analyze that, or what do you think about that?
I felt at that time that I knew this client very well. She had never misled me, and so when she said, "Oh, but I know he wouldn't do that," I believed her.
You didn't advise her to leave the house or move out. You didn't call law enforcement. You took that as a recanting as an accurate or true reflection of what was going on.
From her, yes.
Day 4 of the trial, and it's the prosecution's star witness, who everyone is waiting to hear.
This case was one of those cases where all of the attention is focused on one witness, and that one witness was Vanessa Bowles.
State calls Vanessa Bowles.
I remember looking at Matt more than looking at the jury. I wanted to see his response, and I think he was stunned.
Raise your right hand.
After years of denying their affair, Vanessa now admits that Matt began to pursue her even before Carrie died.
Please have a seat.
He started asking me things about my divorce and started telling me, "Whoever finds you is going to be a lucky man."
Did he say anything else unusual to you?
He came by and was kind of smiling. He said, "Oh, don't date other guys, just date your pastor," and kind of smiled.
Did he say anything else after that?
He said, "Will you really date your pastor? I've had a vasectomy, so I can't get you pregnant. Also, I don't have any STDs." And he also started telling me that because of Carrie's depression, as he stated, their sex life had been lacking.
And at the time, were you buying into what he was telling you about Carrie?
I was buying into everything. He was a complete, and still is, a manipulative liar who took me in my vulnerable state and made me believe everything he said.
What happened then in early March as you and Matt started to spend Fridays at the Baker home?
And he asked if he could hold my hands to pray, and he did. Then afterwards, he started to kiss me. Then he just took my hand and led me to the bedroom.
Feeling guilty about being with her pastor, Vanessa says that Matt tried to reassure her.
I was extremely remorseful. I couldn't believe what just happened. He started saying, "It's okay, don't feel bad, just ask God to forgive you." And he said, in reality, he said, "I don't think God believes that anyone can just be with one person the rest of their lives."
After Carrie's death, Vanessa says Matt wanted more, perhaps even making her the next Mrs. Baker.
At some point, did you and Matt take the girls and go to Kay Jewelers in the mall?
We did. He stated that the girls wanted to go look at wedding rings for me.
Are you telling the jury that he was prepared at this point, a week or two after Carrie's death, to trade in Carrie's wedding set to get you a ring that you wanted?
Correct.
Matt had denied this in interviews, but a salesperson from the jewelry store corroborated Vanessa's account.
She tried on about 4 or 5 rings, asked his opinion. He just would tell her it didn't matter what he liked, it was what she liked because she would be the one wearing it.
Vanessa then drops a bomb when she says not only did Matt want out of his marriage,
He said that if we ever fell so much in love that he would find a way out of it.
she also knows what happened to Carrie Baker.
I told him, I'm gonna tell what you did. And he said, you better not do that.
Vanessa testifies that Matt was openly plotting Carrie's death.
At what point did he start talking about planning her murder?
It was sometime mid-March. He said that, you know, she took sleeping pills every night, so maybe he could make it look like she overdosed on sleeping pills.
Vanessa Bowles talked about how Matt had ruminated about all the different ways he might kill Carrie.
He talked about making it look like she had hung herself. He talked about tampering with the brakes of her car, maybe doing a drive-by shooting.
What I saw from Vanessa's testimony was a man who was much more evil than even I believed he was.
She testified that Matt planned to kill Carrie with a tainted milkshake and then craft a suicide note.
1 to 2 weeks before Carrie's death, did he tell you that he had in fact tried that?
He did. He sent an email and said she took a sip of it and said that it tasted like lead. And so then he said he took a drink and said, oh, well, the ice cream must have been bad. He mentioned that he would leave a note and he said that he would type it. And I said, that's never gonna work, you're gonna be caught. And he said, oh no, she types everything.
Did he say something else about what he believed other people thought about her mental state?
Oh, he said that no one would question it because of how depressed she was.
Vanessa stuns the courtroom when she says Matt Baker told her how he killed his wife.
He had gotten big horse pills. He said he emptied out all the contents and put crushed Ambien in them. He said he handcuffed her to the bed, started kissing her and touching her all over until she fell asleep. Then he said he got the pillow and put it over her face.
What did he say happened next?
He said that he thought she was dead, and he just said she just took one big ass for air, and he said, oh, and then put the pillow back on her face, except he did this with his hand to be sure that he suffocated her.
He didn't even feel enough remorse when he realized that she was still alive to rethink it. He just wanted to finish the job.
He said he typed out the suicide note, printed it, got her hand, and he said that he ran her hand all around the sides of it and put her fingerprints all over it. He said that he set everything up, locked the door, and left.
What was the reaction in the courtroom to Vanessa's testimony that not only did Matt Baker kill his wife, but that he had been planning it?
He had planning it, and the things that he did, people couldn't believe it. I think the more surprising thing was that they couldn't believe that she's up there telling all this.
So you knew that Friday, April 7th of 2006 was the day that he was going to try it again?
I knew he was going to try it then, yes.
All right. And you didn't report that to anybody?
No.
Vanessa says she had second thoughts about Matt and the cover-up of Carrie's murder.
Not only had I known about this and not done the right thing, in truth, who would believe me? He was a preacher. And so I felt like I was stuck.
She then chose to break it off with him.
I decided that I didn't care what he told me anymore, that we didn't worship the same God. So I called him. I told him, I never want to see you again. And he became irate. He started saying, came into my life. And this testimony is going to put him where he needs to be.
It's now up to the jury to determine where Matt needs to be.
Folks, we can't protect her from harm. The only thing now we can do is give her justice. Then turned and pointed to Matt and said to convict
this murdering minister and find him guilty for one reason only.
because he is guilty.
The indictment says there's got to be facts of drugs and a pillow. And the only way you can get those facts is by believing Vanessa Bulls. And she is just not credible.
I think a lot of people struggled with Vanessa. I mean, she had done horrible things, but I think it really helped her credibility when she was on the stand because she didn't try to fade her own culpability.